Hello and welcome to today's episode of Wo bin ich zu Hause, meine Heimat für Fremde. Simply put, where do I call home, my home country for foreigners. Welcome to Oyo, a place of firsts. Oyo State. Given the proximity between Oyo and Lagos, and the fact that we're going to visit all the states in the southwest geopolitical region in Nigeria, it made sense to go from Lagos to Oyo. A visit to Oyo affords you interactions with the Yoruba tradition, markets, festivals, music, food, history of education in Nigeria, and beautiful landscapes starting from forest, rivers, rock formations, and elevations. One of the first things that come to mind when I think about Oyo is the University of Ibadan. I don't know if it's because two of my siblings went to UI, as it's fondly called, or if it's because it's one of the oldest and most prestigious educational institutions in Nigeria. It was formed in 1948 as a college of the University of London. In 1962, it became the University of Ibadan. So let's talk about Oyo. Oyo is a state in Nigeria that has a population of over 5 million people. It has a land mass of over 28,000 square kilometers. The landscape is a bit of, hard-formed rocks and dome-shaped hills, ranging from 500 meters to about 1,200 meters. I mean, it was beautiful to see how houses were built next to rocks, and that would be a landscape you would want to see in some holiday home and you would pay for it. That was just beautiful. Oyo is quite homogeneous in its population, in the sense that a large percentage of its population are Yorubas, or subsets of the Yoruba tribe. And it plays a very strong role when we talk about the Yoruba kingdom. What can you visit in Oyo if you're in Oyo? So my itinerary looked basically like this. We started from Ibadan, and Ibadan is a city that holds home to a lot of firsts in Nigeria. We've talked about the university. There is one of the first TV stations in Africa, NTA Ibadan. There's also the stadium, the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, that was formerly known as the Liberty Stadium, that has a capacity for 35,000 people. And you have one of the first skyscrapers in Africa, the Cocoa House. And as the name suggests, Cocoa House was formed by the Association of Cocoa Farmers. So that brings us also to the fact that a lot of people from Oyo are agrarians. Agriculture plays a huge role in Oyo. What else did we see in Oyo? So there is, of course, the Agodi Gardens. The University of Ibadan Zoo. I'm not a big fan of zoos, but this one was okay, and I've heard that they've done maintenance work, so it's some place you can go with children and family, and it has a lot of snakes. So if you're interested in reptiles, it's a good place to get an overview of reptiles. Welcome to the Ibadan Zoo. So this is one of the attractions that are on the list of several sites as places you can go and see when you're visiting Ibadan. I haven't been to a zoo in quite a while here in Nigeria, so my emotions are mixed. In terms of the wildlife or the animals you have here, there's a good variety. There are different snakes, bird life. We've seen the lion, we've seen 2 different types of ostriches. There is quite a great number of species that you can see here. I'm a little bit concerned that the infrastructure is, for me, not up to standard what I would expect. But from what Mommy is saying, they've renovated, they've added stuff that wasn't there before. So, I mean, it is probably an opportunity for locals to come and get to know species that would no longer be seen in nature, or otherwise dangerous to see in nature. But what I would look for and hope for is that, the maintenance would be, tuned up a little bit more than it is right now. There are some colonial relics, as Ibadan did play a major role in the colonial times in Nigeria. You have the Mapo Hall, which is a beautiful old hall, which affords you an amazing view of Ibadan when you are on the balcony or the rooftop, and you get to see this rusted roofs that scatter across Ibadan that shows you or tells you how old the city is. And you see the markets. Ibadan is also famous for its markets. It has quite a number of markets which you should visit if you are staying a couple of days in Ibadan. Okay.
Mary is 4.
4, okay.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, I don't know where's the 4th one.
Oh, Rita Mary.
Mapo Hall.
Mapo Hall. Ah, cool, Mapo Hall. Okay.
For you. Let me just go like this.
Okay. We are in Ibadan, which is in the southwest region of Nigeria. It's about 128 kilometers from Lagos. So many of you may know Lagos, you've never heard of Ibadan. One thing I've learned about Ibadan is a welcoming city, and we are standing right now at one of its landmarks. This is Mapo Hall. Mapo Hall was started in 1925 and completed in 1929. So it took 4 years to build it by a Welsh engineer. This is an impressive building. What's also special about this building is that if you look behind me, you get an amazing view of the city of Ibadan. We actually get to see one of the founding fathers of the city. There's a statue of him at a roundabout. We get to see him from on top of this building. I've also heard that there used to be a prison somewhere here on this roof. I don't think it's the baddest place to be locked up because you get an amazing view of the city of Ibadan. There's also the Bowers Tower, which has also colonial history attached to it. I will blend in all the single videos for this visit so you can look at them a bit more in detail. And then you have the amazing view the Bowers Tower affords you of the city. So you see quite a lot of Ibadan when you are on top, the highest part of Bowers Towers. It's a good place to visit. So this is Bowers Towers, and we're going to go up. The history behind these towers is it was built as a recognition for the first president or ruler of the region, Ibadan, Ross Bowers, and it was erected in 1936, but he ruled from 1893 to 1897, and there is a building back there which is where he used to live, as I understand, that one there. We're going to go closer and take a close-up. There is an old well construction still visible, but it's really a cool place if it was maintained, because you can see the seating, the chairs, so it's meant to be somewhere where people can relax and taking the flair and the environment of the city of Ibadan. And like we said, it's on a hill, so this place is elevated, so when we get to the top we should have an amazing view of the city. So do come with us as we climb the quite narrow staircase that leads up to the top. Okay, let's do this. So, we're at Bowers Towers, and we've just had an amazing view of the whole tower itself. According to my watch, as we are at the topest, the highest level, it was like 290 meters. And what's interesting about being on this tower is that you get an amazing view of the city of Ibadan. You actually see some iconic buildings or historical places from the top of this tower, and I'm going to start out by showing you Mapo Hall, where we were before. So if we walk right this way, right where those poles are, the communication poles, behind it you can see the columns, you know, the structure, the colonial style architecture of Mapo Hall. We can see it from here, and if we follow that way, just follow this side of the building, we come across Cocoa building. The Cocoa building is also in view there. So this is a good place to kind of like get some of the historical sites that we talked about. And further to this side of it, we see the stadium, one of the stadiums you have in Ibadan. Right there with the blue rim, that's one of the stadiums. But right there where we have the black and white paint going across that bridge, That is Mokola. Mokola is a crazy junction. That's where we arrived. No, we didn't arrive Ibadan there, but we arrived at Challenge and then took a taxi for, I think, 100 naira to Mokola. Mokola is pure madness in itself. It is like one of the busy roundabouts you see in Lagos, but you can literally get from there to anywhere around Ibadan. Now, if you listen, and I'm going to keep quiet, you're going to hear some people. Now, this is something that we have in Nigeria. So long as there is a mountain anywhere, a lot of different religions come to use it for something or the other. And what we found out is that this elevation here is very popular for prayer mountain. So there are a lot of congregation, different denomination that come up here to pray on the mount, which is why we're hearing a lot of people in the background doing their prayer sessions. So if we go all the way this way, we see Premier Hotel, which was also built by the old Oyo State. And I hope we're going to get a closer view from it. And that's just about it from the iconic buildings that I know. I still have not been able to find out why there are a lot of birds circling Ibadan. For me, it's so amazing. You can still see them high up in the sky. I need to ask someone because this is actually an interesting phenomenon and a beautiful thing to see. So Ibadan is a city on a hill, and that's why you will have a lot of places that have Oke in the name, and Oke means height or elevated. So when you see Orioke or Olorioke, it just means elevated. And a lot of places in Ibadan will have Oke in the name because the city is quite elevated. So that's just about it for our little catching up at Bowers Towers. If you're in Ibadan, do come and visit it. We did go to the National Museum of Unity, which is a great place to visit if you don't know a lot about Nigeria and the Nigerian culture, because it affords you an insight into the diversity of the Nigerian population, but also the similarities we have. So you're going to look at things like musical instruments, you're going to look at things like our pottery, the instruments used in cooking or in the household. You're going to look at masks and masquerades, the woven fabrics, the traditional fabrics across the different tribes. It's a good place to go to, and it's really not expensive. It's between 200 or 250 naira to enter per person. A lot of these places, unfortunately, do not allow you to take pictures. I still do not understand it, but that's what it is. So, having been done with Ibadan, we decided to progress. Another thing on our list was, of course, Edo Awaye, the suspended lakes. From what I've read, there are only 2 of it in the world. The other one in Canada, and we have the one in Edo Awaye. Getting to Awaye is not difficult if you have your own car or if you've organized your own car. What we did do was head to Iseyin, and when we got to Iseyin, I think that was one of the most bumpy rides, by the way, from Ibadan to Iseyin. It was a crazy road. But from Iseyin to Edo Awaye, we got a taxi guy to take us there, and he was supposed to wait and bring us back. And this guy was really amazing because he went up Edo Awaye with us to go see the lake. So that was a beautiful experience. It's a great place to go. It's a natural phenomenon that you should visit, and it has a beautiful view when you're on top. There are different other hikes you can actually do to the surrounding rocks. I mean, the landscape is just amazing around Edo Awaye. So it's a good place to go if you're a nature lover and you want to go on a hike. And please, 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 again, do take your rubbish with you. We saw some plastic bottles. It's not nice. Take it with you. If you had the strength to take it up, you should even have more strength to take it down when it's empty. So it's a beautiful place to visit. Hi, we are at the suspended lake in Edo Awaye. It's called Iyake. What is a suspended lake? It is a lake found... What is that?
Toad, frogs.
Asoke. Okay. So it is a lake found on top of a mountain or a hilltop. If you can see from behind me, and actually locals drink this water, and it's actually believed to have a healing power as well. So to get up here, you go through a couple of paved steps, and then there is an unpaved pathway that is still ascending. My watch is saying 500 meters, and then you walk through a flat terrain where you get an amazing view of the city of Oke Ado. this is the suspended lake. So if you've never been here, it is a good place you can come to. I have my guide here. What's your name? Moti Adeboju brought us up here. So he's a local from here. So if you're looking for someone to bring you up and he knows other nice places around here that he can show you, then look for him, because it is not yet very developed, but there are young people that come from around here and know the way up, and they can help you come look around this area. And there are other hill structures or mountain structures that we've seen that you can come and visit. So if you have some time on your hands, you are close to Iseyin or Ibadan. We came from Ibadan this morning. It's 2 hours. The road is a bit rough, but when you get to is it Ajaye? When you get to the bus stop, you can get a car coming down here. It's 200 per person, or you can actually charter the whole ride. It takes like sometimes 6 or 9 people in the car, and then come down here and do your tour. Yeah, so we're gonna go down. Thank you for joining us today. This is our trip to the suspended lake Iyake in Awaye. Thanks. We actually intended to stay in Iseyin, but the hotel was not very inviting. So we kind of like drove around town a little, and we found some Asoke weavers. Asoke is a traditional fabric worn by the Yorubas, and it's very popular for wedding ceremonies, for different types of ceremonies, naming ceremonies, even burials, and all sorts. And you can get from these Asoke weavers something woven to your own choice and color, wish, or preference. So I think it was really lovely seeing how they made the Asoke, and also getting their contact. So all those ladies out there planning some parties, or ashwebi, or even gents, feel free to reach out to these people. It's a beautiful fabric. So we're looking at one finished pack of Asoke, and it's 8 yards, and this costs 5,000, right?
Yes, for this time.
For this type of Asoke with the shiny thread. This cap is made of Asoke, so this is something you can use to make. After you buy the finished materials, you can also make a cap, and you can make some headgear for women. I love incorporating it into the fabrics that I wear every day. So there are the Asoke weavers in Iseyin that you could actually also visit. Other places that you might want to put onto your visit and maybe extend it for a couple of more days are the Ibeji Hills, IITA Forest, the Old Oyo National Park. Now, one of the things you must remember about Oyo is it has a lot of festivals that could be very interesting for you. Some of the prominent festivals include the Bere Festival, which is the ceremonial cutting and bringing home of thatched grass from fields. The festival is held in February. Other festivals to note are Shango, Oke Ibadan, Egungun, Yamoja, and the New Yam Festival. To sum it all up, Oyo introduces you to a very, very strong hold of the Yoruba culture and tribe, and ancient cities or old cities that have cultural history attached to them. In Oyo, you actually get to visit the Alaafin of Oyo's palace, which we did, which introduces you to the traditional ruling system we had in Nigeria before democracy, before colonization. You can visit the palace. If you are in Nigeria and you are looking for a place to visit outside of Lagos that holds a lot of the Yoruba culture, then Oyo is a good place to visit. So thank you for watching. Yours truly, Liesl81.